So when you just show up on social media and you give them what they need, you're hands down going to stand out from the competition, and people are going to be more likely to just purchase from you when we get out of our comfort zone and into serving people. Welcome to the Social Media Marketing Mastery for Business Masterclass. We are on day 1, and this is going to be incredibly informational. This is going to give you the edge you need to stay. People want to get to know you. Connection is currency. People no longer trust the advertisements, the commercials. People don't believe the stuff that's being shoved down our throats because we have been oversaturated, we have been over-messaged, and we have been overly advertised too. So when you just show up on social media and you give them what they need, you're hands down going to stand out from the competition, and people are going to be more likely to just purchase from you, right? I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody pop in my inbox and track me down and say, you know what, I've watched all of your lives, I've been binging your content, I've seen your testimonials on Instagram, I've watched all the things, and I'm ready. You're the one I need to work with, I know, and I'm ready. Period. That's all of social media is, a cold audience, until you warm them up, invite them into your living room, and then bring them into a hot audience, and then convert into a paid customer, which we're going to talk more about how to do that here in the next few days. I can't tell you how many people have gone from never seeing me, never meeting me in their lives, watching a live that I do, and signing up to be a paid customer. It has happened to me more times than I can tell you guys. I say that to show you what is possible on social media when we get out of our comfort zone, out of our complacency, and into serving people. Because in this day and age, connection is currency. I truly believe we have so much consumerism fatigue in our world today that we are sick and tired of being sold to. Nobody wants to be sold to, but get this, everyone wants to buy. We are such a consumer-driven world. And yes, there's been a dip, the recession that we're having. There's been a dip in inflation. There's been a dip in purchasing. People are looking for the bargains. They want to know that they can trust the product, they can trust the service that they're getting, and people are never going to stop buying. They just don't want to be sold to. So if we can look at our social media marketing, not as a way to get something, not as a way to make the sale, to do the thing, to reach the goal, but if we can show up fully, releasing our comfort zone, releasing the complacency of fear. What if somebody makes fun of my social media? What if Becky from 8th grade who put gum in my hair sees this? What if my ex-boyfriend sees it and is like, who are you to do this? What if the girl that you asked out on a date sees it and she's like, oh my gosh, what a dork. You know, like all these things. When you put yourself out there, when you take a stand for something, you're going to have people come up against you. You're going to have people popping into your comments. You're going to have people, you know, whatever. Because 80% of the world isn't going to care one way or another what you're doing. They're going to scroll. They're going to scroll. They're going to scroll. Your content doesn't resonate with them. Your content may not. Maybe you talk too fast. Maybe you're too much. Maybe they need coffee before they can hear you. These are all things I've heard. And I'm proud of it. I'm unapologetic. Then there's 10% of people that are not going to like you. Maybe you remind them of their mom and they have some internal family stuff they need to deal with. Maybe you remind them of a girlfriend that they had in college, or the boy that snubbed them at Starbucks, or maybe they just don't like the way that you talk, the way that you like blink your eyes too much, or they don't like the way that you lean into the video, whatever that is. 10% of people are not going to like you for whatever reason. And then there's the beautiful, juicy 10% that are going to be your raving fans. They're going to show up. They're going to eat up every single thing you say. They're going to take it to heart. They're going to become the Swifties of your world, right? The most famous person in the entire world right now is Taylor Swift by far. That woman is a marketing genius. She has stayed relevant. She's adapted to the new generations. She is a freaking genius. So those 10% that are become your Swifties, that 10%, that is who you show up for. This isn't going to cost you a ton of money. I'm not asking you to go out and put Google ads, or I'm not asking you to put down a big deposit to be in some program. I'm not asking you to hire me as your coach. But the biggest cost, the biggest investment you are going to make is to get out of your comfort zone. It's a lot like going to the gym. If you knew the results you could have, if you had high blood pressure, heart disease, and you knew that if you changed your eating habits and you went to the gym and you started drinking more water, you could change your entire life in less than 6 months. That first day, setting up the gym bag, putting your shoes out, just getting to the gym is going to be the biggest leap that we take. And if you knew that showing up on social media, doing the things and putting into place the few things we're going to talk about over the next 2 days, if you knew that in 6 months, your life could change, the biggest cost, the biggest hurdle would be to actually do it. And if you show up and you put in place these things we're going to talk about, we have so much beautiful things coming up over the next couple days. We're going to talk about the 80-20 rule. We're going to talk about content creation. We're going to talk about how to speak to your audience and pull them in. I'm going to share with you guys the one single post that I was freaking terrified to put out there in the world that brought me in $7,000 cash in a week. One post on social media that I honestly wanted to delete. I'm going to show you how I've built companies through social media, through authenticity, nothing sleazy, no cold messaging, no like chasing people down, no convincing, just through beautiful, authentic marketing on social media, showing up, serving, creating that connection, which brings the currency. I took 3 months off this summer to play, to have fun, to do some inner work so that I can show up better for you guys. You know, I too had my edge. I have my growth edge. And I got to go deeper in that. And I went through some big emotions, you know, like if you guys have ever done that internal work, you know, and like I'm saying this because I get it. I hid out in this Facebook group for like a year and a half, and I would downplay my business because there's a part of me that still feels like a fraud, or I want to stay in my comfort zone. Whatever the story is I'm telling myself. But I got to go through a season and a period of time where I got to go deeper, and I got to show up bigger for myself, bigger for my community, so that I can now hold space for you to show up bigger and hit your growth edge and go far beyond anything that you thought was possible. In that time, I bought a BMW with cash. And, you know, I say this because when we stop thinking about the money, when we stop sitting in our comfort zone, worrying about the things, and I've created a business that I don't have to like be so in the hustle because I do what feels good. I leverage the power of social media and I show up as my true authentic self. And I don't know what you guys have been through in your life, and I don't even know why I'm feeling this intuitive thought to share this with you. I grew up, a lot of times my feelings, my perceptions, what I wanted to do was judged as wrong. I was a really creative kid. You know, I would play in my fantasy world, loved to be on stages. I loved to perform. I loved acting. Perfectionist to a T, winning awards and doing these things. But I had this idea that I had to be perfect. And oftentimes I felt like my opinions, my desires, my dreams, my preferences, I was not allowed to have those. And so I silenced my voice for a really long time. So when I stepped out into social media, to say that I was terrified is not even a drop in the bucket. To say that I was terrified to hit live and go live and to share with people, because who am I? Even though I had the stuff on paper. I was the very high paid, prestigious sales and marketing director for a national company. And I was like, who am I to do this? And it didn't matter what people said about me. It didn't matter the accolades I got. Like, it would just roll off. Like, okay, yeah. And it wasn't until I validated my own existence. It wasn't until I allowed myself to show up messy, to be vulnerable. And again, you guys, like, I have a level of vulnerability, but that's gotten deeper. Until I allowed myself to get out of my comfort zone and to just make mistakes, to fail, to do what felt good for me. That's when my business totally took off. My confidence soared. And even bigger, I got to start showing up and making impacts in people's lives. Because this is my true, honest, 100% heart of hearts truth. I love what I do. I love the feeling when a client calls me like she did this morning, and I got to talk her off the ledge of giving up. I got to, go deeper with her and say, hey, this is great content. This is great copy. Your sales page, if it's not working, I truly believe we need to see more of you. I got to walk her through that. I got to remember and be compassionate for, I remember my first launch too. I remember when I felt like it wasn't working. I remember when I was hearing crickets, and got to trust the process and got to remember the deeper why, and got to remember and manifest and bring in and trust the process, trust my audience, trust myself, trusting myself. I love what I do. When we show up and we get out of our comfort zone and we get out of the complacency and we get into our hearts, we get into our purpose, we get into our bigger, bolder mission. And if this is what's so important about having someone that reflects back to you. I have some mentors today that honestly scared the crap out of me when I first met them. And sometimes she still does. Because she has no reservations about telling me the truth, about calling me out on my thinking. And she's very outspoken in helping me discover my purpose and truth. It's been life-changing. So when we talk about social media, this is just day one. We're here having a conversation. We're talking about why this is so important. Tomorrow, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. I'm going to teach you guys the pillars of content that we need to create. There's strategy behind everything I do. Again, I took this summer off, you guys, and we had scheduled out content, all my stuff. I don't like other people, I need it to be in my words. So we scheduled out 2 pieces of content a day, if not more. Scheduled out, done, sealed, delivered, done. It took us a long time to do this, right? And I'm not asking you guys to do that. I barely touched Instagram. I barely touched Facebook. I barely touched LinkedIn. I went from 9,000 followers to 11,000 followers on Instagram like that. Because we created our content in the exact strategy and methodology I'm going to teach you tomorrow. The 4 pillars of content, the 80-20 rule. And this is how you show up. This is how you be authentic. You're not just shoving offers in their face to the point where they're like, I'm going to unfollow, I'm going to unlike. And the Instagram algorithm is down really far right now because they've oversaturated the reels, which is fine because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the algorithm does. It doesn't matter what kind of shift any platform makes. It doesn't matter because when you stick to this content creation strategy, when you stick to the 80-20 rule, when you stick to the 4 pillars, when you show up and you innovate, when you get out of your comfort zone, when you leap before you're ready, you're going to create your own economy. You're going to capture that 10%, your Swifties. And that 10% is going to tell their 10 friends, who's going to tell their friends, that are going to become your raving fans. That will be 80% of your business. You're generating income consistently. You're waking up in the morning on day 1 of any month going, okay, I'm going to have this amount of income come in no matter what. Even if I don't show up, if I don't make an offer, I will have this amount of income, and it's more than I need. It's more than I need for my company. It's more than I need to pay payroll. It's more than I need to have fun. It's more than I need to play. It's more than I need to feel confident and to hold space for more. So this was day one. Remember how we talked about the biggest cost you will ever have is to just show up, is to take the chance, is to put yourself out there, is to get out of your comfort zone and into your purpose. And I hope that you get the motivation and the inspiration to show up, to take a stand, to do this, not for me, not to appease an algorithm, but for you, for us, for the people out there who are praying for the solution only you can give them, because they're there. All right, you guys. As we wrap up day one, I would love to hear from you. What is your beautiful, brand new, bold commitment to yourself, to your vision, to the world? This could be anything from, I'm committed to create one piece of content a day. This could be something like, hey, I'm going to do my first live ever. I'm going to start that Instagram. I'm going to share with the world a picture of my product. I'm going to share some information. I'm going to just commit to showing up once a week. I'm going to start the freaking podcast. I'm going to ask people who I admire, if I can interview them. I'm going to ask people I want to be in collaboration with and be in community with. And this is one of the most beautiful pieces of being in business, is finding that community of people. And so I want you to share with us. You can either comment here in the live, or if you are feeling bold and courageous, I would love for you to go in the group. You can even go live. You can type it out on a post, but I would love for you, I'll start a thread if you guys feel more comfortable doing that. But I'd love for you to share your beautiful, bold commitment. Put hashtag day one and then share your beautiful, bold commitments. So there's something magical about when we allow ourselves to have the dream. When we allow ourselves to have the beautiful, bold vision, when we stop shaming ourselves, when we stop saying, when I'm ready, when I have the information, when I feel confident, when I feel this. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, you will never feel confident if you wait to feel confident. The confidence comes from doing. The confidence comes from making the mistakes and being okay with it. The confidence comes from putting yourself out there and knowing that no metric, no sales system is going to validate your existence and what you're doing. What validates you is you. What validates you is knowing that you are creating this business that has beautiful freedom, that creates massive impact, and it is going to sustain you on the rainy days. It's going to sustain you on the times when you don't feel like showing up. It's going to sustain you when you go through those hard times. And that no matter what, you're going to have this beautiful, juicy, delicious, fulfilling, incredible business. So what is your commitment today? Share with me, what did you get from this live? You can also share a screenshot onto your Instagram pages. We'll be giving away a couple different prizes. And I'm glad that there's a couple of my community here, the ADHD community, because I have these super cute notebooks. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's ADHD Rise 2023, the logos. I got a couple of them printed up this year, and they are so freaking cute. So I'll be giving away a couple different prizes. And I do this because money loves speed. Fortune favors the brave. And I love for you guys to get into action, get out of your comfort zone, get out of complacency, and into beautiful, bold, unapologetic action. So share with us, hashtag day one, what are you committed to in your business? What are you committed to creating moving forward so we can celebrate with you? I love you guys. Please do tune in tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the 4 pillars of content creation. You don't even have to worry about the algorithm as long as you have the right content in place. The people will come. We're also going to talk about the 80-20 rule. We're going to talk about all different ways to put yourself out there. We're going to talk about what's working in the current state of social media, because it is so important that you're listening to current information. I see a lot of people out there talking about stuff that worked back in 2016 or previous to 2020. I'm not staying up on the current trends, which I'm unapologetically saying that I am obsessed with staying current in business trends, consumer behavior, psychology, all of it. I am obsessed. And thank God I have a business that allows me to do that. I can't wait to hear what your commitments are in your business, whether if it's writing the books, starting the podcast, starting the Facebook group, going live, allowing yourself to be messy. If you're saying 2024 is going to be my year, I'm making the bold commitment right now so that I cannot slow down, so that I cannot just get complacent, that I'm going to sprint through the finish line and meet my higher self on January 1st of 2024. If that's you, I want to hear it. Let's do this together. Again, my name is Val Nichols. If you are meeting me for the first time, hello. Feel free to invite people into this group if you know that they need to hear this. And feel free to share this out. Either take a screenshot, put it on your stories, or share a flyer that we have, whatever you want to do. I'd love for you to do that. I very much appreciate it. Love you guys.